students. Welcome to your mathematics class for today. Today we are looking at the topic which says simplifying algebraic terms, the use of brackets. Lesson objectives. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to 1. Multiply and divide algebraic terms. 2. Simplify algebraic expressions by following an agreed order of operations. 3. Remove brackets from simple numerical and algebraic expressions. And 4. Solve simple word problems that involve brackets and algebraic terms. Our lesson materials include our textbooks, content, introduction. In algebra, letters stand for numbers. Thus, 8z means 8 times z. 5ab means 5 times a times b. It is better to write the letters in an algebraic term in alphabetical order. For example, xyz rather than yxz, though they all have the same product. Algebraic fractions can be reduced to lowest 10 by dividing both the numerator and denominator by their common factors. So what this intro means is that when you have 8z, it is a product of 8 times z. When you have 5ab, it is the product of 5 times a times b. And it is better to write the algebraic terms in alphabetical order. A, B, C instead of B, C, A, and so on. And algebraic fractions can be reduced to lowest 10, just as you have arithmetic fractions reduced to lowest 10. To do that, you just divide both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. And that the same number means the common factors. Let's take some examples. Simplify the following. 1. 9ab times 3. 2. 3y times 10x squared. 3. 3b times 11ab. 4. 42xy divided by 7y. 5. A divided by a squared. And 6. 40pq squared divided by 8pq. Solution. 9ab times 3 means 9 times a times b times 3, which is 9 times 3 times a times b, giving us 9 times 3 is 27, a times b is ab. Answer is 27ab. Example 2. 3y times 10x squared. That is the same thing as 3 times y times 10 times x times x. X squared means x times x. So this is the same thing as 3 times 10, then times x times y. Remember that we agreed that it is better written in alphabetical order. That gives us 30x squared y. Example 3. 3b times 11ab is the same thing as 3 times b times 11 times a times b. That is the same thing as 3 times 11 times a times b times b. If you multiply out, the product will be 33ab squared. Example 4. 42xy divided by 7y. That would be 42 times x times y over 7 times y. Y will cancel y, and you will have and 42 divided by 7 will give us 6 times x. That will give us 6x as the answer. Now, example 5. A divided by a squared. That will be a over a times a. Now, a cancels a, we'll have 1. And that is why our answer is 1 over a. Example 6. 40pq squared over 8pq. That is the same thing as 40 times p times q over 8 times p times q. Q cancels q and p cancels p. 8 goes into 40 to give us 5. And that leaves us with 5 times q, which is 5q. So students, what we have looked at is how to simplify algebraic expressions, multiplication and division. Hope you are following. That brings us into our next subtopic, which is order of operation in algebra. When solving a problem involving mixed arithmetic operation, we use the rule of BODMAS, meaning brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction. BODMAS, I know you met it even in primary school, and it is brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction. That is the rule that when you are handling or operating mixed arithmetic operations, you must strictly follow this rule before you can get the answer correct. Let's look at some examples. Simplify the followings. 1. 4x plus 2 times 8x. 2. 8x plus 9 divided by 3. 3. 2 times 9x plus 12x divided by 3. 4. 6 times 5x minus 3x times 0 plus 6x. 5. Half of bracket 9 minus 5 minus 3 times 6. And 6. 1 minus 4p times 3 plus 4 times 3p times 0 minus 2p times 5. The solution. Number 1. 4x plus 2 times 8x. Now we have mixed operations here. We have plus, we have multiplication. So it takes us to BODMAS. And before you can even start working, you have to introduce brackets where necessary. The one you have to do first, you introduce brackets there. So we put bracket, we put 2 times 8x in brackets because multiplication in our BODMAS rule should come before operating plus. So that gives us 4x plus 2 times 8x in brackets. So you do what is in the bracket first. So 2 times 8x gives us 16x. Then we bring down 4x. Now they are like terms and we can collect the 4x and 16x, giving us 20x. Example 2. 8x plus 9x divided by 3. We have division, we have addition. In BODMAS, division comes before addition. So we introduce brackets here. And that gives us 8x plus 9x divided by 3 in brackets. So 9x divided by 3 will give us 3x. We have 8x plus 3x. There are terms in x. Collect them through their coefficients, and that gives us 11x. Example 3. Here we have 2 times 9x plus 12x divided by 3. We have now multiplication, addition, and division. So we put brackets in 12x plus divided by 3 and 2 times 9x. So 2 times 9x is 18x. 12x divided by 3 gives us 4x. They are terms in x. Collect them, we have 22x. Example 4. 6 times 5x minus 3x times 0 plus 6x divided by 2. We just introduce our brackets where necessary, and they are 6 times 5x in brackets, 3x times 0 in brackets, 6x divided by 2 in brackets. We now work out the questions inside the brackets. 6 times 5x gives 30x minus 3x times 0 is 0. Any number divided by 0 multiplied by 0 will give us 0. 3x times 0 is 0 plus 6x divided by 2 is 3x. So we have 30x minus 0 plus 3x. Minus 0 plus 0 is nothing. So we have 30x plus 3x, which is 33x. Example 5. Half of 9 minus 5 in brackets minus 3 times 6. 3 times 6 have to go into brackets because we will do that before subtraction. Recall that of means multiplication. So a half of 9 minus 5 is 4 minus 3 times 6. So half times 4 minus 18. 3 times 6 is 18. Half of 4 is 2. 2 minus 18 is minus 16. And example 6. 1 minus 4p times 3 plus 4 times 3p times 0 minus 2p times 5. Remember, just look for where you are supposed to insert brackets so that the rule of BODMAS can be used. 4p times 3 should be in brackets. 4 times 3p times 0 should be in brackets. And 2p times 5 should be in brackets. So work out the brackets. This will be 1 minus 4p times 3 is 12p
plus 4 times 3p is 12p, then times 0 gives us 0, because any number multiplied by 0 is 0. Then minus 2p times 5 is 10p. We collect like terms. The like terms are 1 plus 0 minus 12p minus 10p. So 1 plus 0 is 1. Minus 12p minus 10p. Recall that when you have the same numbers, you add the numbers. The same numbers, you add the numbers. However, the sign in front of your answer is the sign of the questions. In this case, we have minus minus. We put together, but the answer will be minus. So minus 12p minus 10p, we put them together. If you put 12 and 10 together, you will have 22. It's 12p, 10p, 22p, but the sign will be minus. Our answer is 1 minus 22p. So students, before we go to the next subtopic, let's recap what we have done here. When simplifying algebraic expressions or terms, please note that the order of operation must follow BODMAS. If you have just plus and minus, what you will do is add and subtract, starting with addition. However, if you have mixed operations, minus, plus, multiplication, division, there must be need for you to insert brackets so that the order of operation, which is BODMAS, can be used. If you start solving without introducing a bracket at the necessary place, you will never get the answer correct. So when you insert brackets, you solve the brackets, then collect like terms where necessary. I just hope you are following. Okay. So our next subtopic is removing brackets. Brackets are useful to group algebraic terms before applying the BODMAS rule to solve algebraic expressions involving mixed operations. At times, to solve algebraic expressions, the terms inside the bracket may not simplify, hence we remove the bracket first. The topic we have just finished, the subtopic we have just finished, there we need to insert brackets so that we can solve the problems inside the bracket before we can continue. But in this example, brackets are already there. However, the terms inside the brackets you cannot solve. So you will remove the brackets. Now, there is a rule you have to follow when you are removing brackets. So to remove the brackets, we apply the sign rules. Note the following. Sign rule 1. A plus sign before a bracket does not change the signs of the terms inside the brackets when the brackets are removed. Example, if we have x plus y minus z in brackets, what this sign is saying, this sign rule is saying, is that if we have plus in front of this bracket that has y minus z, if we remove this bracket and have only y minus z, the sign inside this bracket, which is minus, remains unchanged. So, but look at sign 2. A negative sign before a bracket will change all the positive signs inside the bracket to negative, and also change all the negative signs inside the bracket to positive when the bracket is removed. Look at this example. 4m minus 8m minus 3n in bracket minus 4m plus n in bracket. When we remove the brackets that has 8m minus 3n, 4m plus n, what happens? We will have 4m minus sign 8m. Now, instead of minus 3n, we will now have plus 3n because of this minus sign in front of this bracket. The sign inside the bracket had changed to the opposite, which is plus. The sign inside is minus, it has changed to plus. Now, minus 4m, we have plus n. When we remove this bracket, this minus sign will change plus sign inside the bracket to negative. Let me repeat. 4m minus 8m minus 3n in bracket minus 4m plus n in bracket. We have minus signs, two minus signs in front of two brackets. And the rule is saying that when you remove these brackets, that these signs, minus and plus, that are inside the bracket, because of this minus sign, will all change to their opposite. Minus changes to plus, plus changes to minus. So this rule is very important in simplifying algebraic expressions. When there is no sign before a bracket, you just assume that it is a plus sign. For example, 3x minus y in bracket means plus 3x minus y. When you don't have any sign, you assume it is plus. So let's look at some examples. Simplify the following expressions by removing the brackets. 1, 7m plus 6 plus 3n. 2, 4k plus 90 minus 3k plus 60 plus 5k. 3, m minus 5n minus 8 minus n in bracket. 4, 15m plus 8n minus 4m minus 3n in bracket. 5, 12x minus x plus 9y in bracket minus 4 plus 3y in bracket. The solutions. 1, 7m plus 6 plus 3n in brackets. Open the brackets or remove the brackets. You will have 7m plus 6 plus 3n. This sign plus inside the bracket remains unchanged. Why? Because there is a plus sign in front of the brackets. So the next thing is we collect like terms if there is any, but there is none here. So our answer is 7m plus 3n plus 6. Remember, it can be 7m plus 6 plus 3n. It can be 3n plus 6 plus 7n. Just obey the sign. Here we have plus plus, so any of them can start. Example 2. 14k plus 90 minus 3k in bracket plus 60 plus 5k in bracket. We remove brackets. There are two of them there. So that would be 4k plus 90 minus 3k plus 60 plus 5k. Why? We have plus signs in front of the bracket. Because there are 4 plus signs in front of the bracket, When you remove these brackets, the signs inside the bracket remain the same. Minus 3k remains minus 3k, plus 5k remains plus 5k. We collect like terms. So that will give us 4k plus 5k minus 3k, then plus 90 plus 60. 4k plus 5k minus 3k gives us 6k, plus 90 plus 60 is 15t. That is the answer because they are not like terms. K and T are not like terms. Example 3. M minus 5n minus 8 minus n in brackets. We remove brackets, and that gives us m minus 5n minus 8 plus n. Why plus? Because we have a minus sign in front of this bracket. And that rule says that if we have a minus sign in front of a bracket, when we remove the bracket, the signs inside the bracket will change to their opposite. So minus changes to plus, plus changes to minus. So we have minus here, it changes to plus. We collect like terms. That will give us m minus 4n minus 8. Example 4. 14m plus 8n minus 4m minus 3n. Let's remove the brackets. We have 15m plus 8n minus 4m plus 3n. Why plus 3n instead of minus 3n? Because we have minus sign in front of this bracket. I want you to note that this minus sign is in front of 4m minus 3 in bracket and not in front of 15m plus 8n. This minus affects this second bracket and not the first one. It changes minus to plus. We collect like terms. We have 15m minus 4m plus 8n plus 3n. And that gives us 11m plus 11n. We are not doing factorization. If it is factorization, the answer could have been 11 into m plus n, because 11 is a common factor. But that's not the question we are asked. Our answer remains 11m plus 11n. 12x minus x plus 9y in brackets minus 4 plus 3y in brackets. We remove brackets. We have 12x minus x minus 9y, because this minus changes this plus inside the bracket to minus. Then minus 4, here it is plus 3, it changes to minus because of the minus sign in front of the bracket. We now collect like terms. That gives us 12x minus x minus 9y minus 3y, then minus 4. 12x minus x is 11x, minus 9y minus 3y, put the numbers together, that gives us 12y, but the sign remains minus, then minus 4. Students, I want you to note that in the question the topic we are looking at is all about signs. It's all about signs. What happens when you have a negative sign in front of the bracket? If you have a positive sign in front of a bracket, it doesn't affect any sign inside the bracket. However, if it is minus, you have to be more careful. Secondly, when you have the same signs and you are putting them together in terms of adding, the same signs as plus, plus, the same signs as minus, minus, put those numbers together. However, you look at what you are doing. Is it minus, minus, or plus, plus? If it is plus, plus the operation, your answer is plus. If the operation is minus, minus, the answer is minus. Please be very careful, especially when you come across minus signs in algebra. Thank you.